Hi, and this is going to be my video response for class number 4. And this lecture was really interesting because it talked about problem finding. That's what I found the most interesting. And I'm a very inquisitive person. I love finding problems and trying to fix them. And so, although this, the idea behind finding a problem and fixing it in this lecture was kind of spun in kind of an environmental sense, I interpreted it and analyzed it more in terms of a business sense and in terms of app creation, which is definitely completely applicable. However, it just wasn't stressed, I believe, that way in lecture. And so to start off, I want to say that, in my opinion, finding a problem is the most crucial element to developing any sort of successful idea, executing it. This is because if there's a problem in your idea, or not even talking about the idea yet, if you see a problem, then that means if you can find the problem to begin with, it's the hardest part. Then you can easily think of a solution to that problem. But seeing the problem initially is the biggest task, in my opinion. And if you do find a problem and you do create a solution that works well, then what you have done is you've met demand. You've created demand for your product ultimately, and therefore it means that if everything goes well in terms of advertising and marketing and people are aware of your product, it will sell because there's a demand for it. It serves a purpose. And I believe nowadays there's so many ideas out there that essentially don't serve a purpose, and they get lost. And it's just such a crucial element, and I believe it's the first thing people should do when they're trying to, if they want to think of a big idea, is start with the problem, and then you can fix the problem, and that is the basis for finding an idea and executing it. And this kind of relates to the fish story that they talked about in lecture, how the fish said, "What water?" And it illustrates how the most obvious and important realities are the hardest to envision. And this ties into what I was talking about earlier in the sense of the most obvious and important realities and problems that there are out there are the ones that are the hardest to envision, the hardest to create solutions for, because they're the hardest to essentially to grasp. You take it for granted. So I believe if you can essentially tap into this idea behind finding obvious and simple problems, realities in the world, you will really have great success in terms of ideation for an app, or honestly whatso be it. And this concludes my video response for this lecture.